to start, I'd like to begin with my personal journey on LinkedIn, so you know a little bit where I'm coming from and what has been my relationship to the platform. So for me, I started in 2022. At the time, I was living and working in Nigeria, in Lagos. I had been working for 2 years as a cultural coordinator for Alliance Française Lagos. So I was basically Arcita, but for Nigeria. So my contract lasted 2 years, and after that I had 2 options. Either I was coming back to France, try to do something, find some work, or do something else. And I decided to actually stay back in Nigeria and start up my entrepreneurial journey. I had no clue of what I was doing, or I knew nothing about entrepreneurship. But along the way, I came across the path of a former classmate of mine, Thibault Louis. I'm referencing him from time to time on LinkedIn. He has been quite a big influence for me. At the time, so he joined the platform, he started writing on the platform in 2020 during COVID. And like 2 years later, he was working as a freelance ghostwriter for top tech CEOs in France, making a really good living, and he managed to really grow his business on the platform. And so he was sharing a lot of entrepreneurial knowledge. So for me, it was very, very interesting. And he was also encouraging his audience to join LinkedIn and to start posting on LinkedIn because he really believed in the power, in the potentials of the platform to grow and develop a business. So yeah, it was a really good inspiration. And so basically, it took me some time before I started to put in practice what he was preaching, basically. And so my first attempt on LinkedIn was October 2022, and I started posting on the platform every day for 3 months. I was a bit confused. I was not so sure what I was going to write about, but my goal was to write one post every day. So I had to find subjects and things to write about. I was writing about mostly the creative sector in Nigeria because that was my field. Finding ideas along the way, trying to figure it out. And somehow, after 3 months, I got this post that actually went viral. I had no idea what happened. I mean, it did like something like 30,000 views, which at the time for me was quite a lot. It was a post, as you can see, on the animation sector in Nigeria about Iwaju, which was the first collaboration between Disney and Pan-African studios, Kugali Media, and it really worked out well. So I was very excited, but then I basically stopped posting all at once entirely because what I was doing before is getting 5, 10 likes maybe, and then after that, I was like, okay, I don't know how to replicate that. I just quit LinkedIn for some time. So fast forward to my next attempt. That was last year, a year ago. I came back to the platform in September 2024. I was working as I arrived to Nairobi. I've been in Nairobi for a year, and I just took over my position as a film and media attaché then. And so that's when I decided to actually, okay, let me come back to the platform and try to share what I was doing, speak about the creative space in Kenya, in the region, and that's how I started writing. And I was writing basically 3 to 5 times a week, and I kept at it for a year. And eventually, in the last 3 months or so, I managed to go viral twice more. It was a surprise as well in both cases, but I was able to now understand better what was happening, and I didn't stop writing. And so this was one of those viral posts. I shared it. It's basically a lead magnet, and I shared it. It was basically a guide to build a killer pitch deck for animators. I shared it during Annecy, and it went quite successful, and yeah. But this is really nice, but what did it bring to me, like aside of simple views? So there are 3 things that LinkedIn actually got me over the years. The first thing is an audience. I managed to build an audience of 5,000 plus creative entrepreneurs from across the region and from across the continent. And last year only, I managed to reach, my post total views got like almost 500,000 views. I mean, actually more than that, which is, when you think of it, is quite a big figure actually. But beyond just, those figures, what it is for me, these 5,000 people following what I do is basically a latent pool of either clients or partners that I can potentially, build connection with and develop work with. And it is also, a number of people that can amplify my voice and help me have more impact and amplify my work as well. So yeah, building an audience. The second thing is actually a lot of learnings and credibility. Learnings, because when you have to post like every 4 or 5 days, at some points you still have to research your industry, so there is a lot of research involved, so obviously a lot of learnings as well. And the fact for me, at least personally, writing helps me actually anchor whatever knowledge I'm, manipulating, so it has proven a very good way to learn. And while learning, I also managed to build credibility, because when you have this consistent presence on a platform, people start to pay attention, and it gives you voice, more credibility and more authority in your specific field. For me, the creative sector on the continent and in the region. And then finally, the last thing is actually big opportunities, because that was back in summer 2023 or something. At the time, I didn't have such a big audience. It's not even a big audience, but I had like 1,500 followers somehow on LinkedIn, which is quite average. But it actually helped me to get a contract with one of my biggest contracts with a client. Then the reason being, I actually had more followers than the CEO of the company I was then servicing. And so obviously it is not just about LinkedIn, but this LinkedIn presence I have been developing just a couple months before, basically, helped me to gain authority and legitimacy in the eye of that client. And so I got that contract, and that contract helped me get another one. So at the end of the day, LinkedIn helped me actually secure jobs. And it can do the same for you. So obviously, yesterday was the best time to start. When you look at creators who joined the platform 5, 6, 7 years ago, today, if they have been consistent, they have quite a large followership. But the next best time is today, and I believe that's the reason why you guys are here. Can you hear me well? Okay. So the presentation today, we are going to have 4 different chapters. The first one will be focusing on trying to identify the reasons why you are willing to join the platform, your objectives, trying to also understand your positioning and what questions you need to actually ask yourself to be able to find a clear positioning. Then the third chapter will be about how to harness your voice, how to find your voice on the platform, and finally how to optimize your profile as well to get a profile that actually can afford your clients. So first thing first, clarifying your objectives and positioning. Before you dive into it straight on, I find it quite useful to ask yourself what are the motivations for you to join the platform and to start posting regularly on it. And so there are 2 main questions really that you can actually ask yourself to clarify those objectives. The first one is really why am I using LinkedIn? And the second is what are the concrete outcomes that I am aiming for using the platform? So if you're a creative entrepreneur, maybe it's to find clients, maybe it is to find investors, to sell products, to gain credibility and authority in your field. Maybe it's to get an invitation for a podcast, or maybe to secure your next job. But sit down with these two questions. So why am I using LinkedIn, and what kind of concrete outcome am I looking at achieving? And this will also help you get a direction on how to use the platform. The next thing is the positioning. Your positioning is basically what is it that, where are you speaking from, who are you speaking to, and what are you speaking about. So it helps you understand basically the kind of themes and the kind of topics that you want to pick and that you want to address. And basically, generally it relates to your expertise because it's a professional platform, and the idea is to leverage it to display your expertise and position yourself as an authority in your field and in your niche. So positioning is quite important, and what we want to actually we want to articulate that positioning into a tagline to really highlight what is your value proposition. So obviously this is a little entrepreneurial, but I believe it still speaks. It still very much apply to everyone here, even though if you are working for a company, you still are bringing something to the table, and that's what you want to articulate for your audience. First of all, for yourself to really understand what it is that you are bringing, but also for your audience, so that people coming across your profile or some of your posts immediately understand who you are talking to and what benefits they stand in following you. And so in order to really craft that value proposition, there are a few questions that you need to answer, 6 of them. The first of them is, what is it that you offer? So it will help you clarify your offering, obviously. Who do you speak to? That will help you understand who is your target audience. Why is your offer, what is it that you're offering different or even better than whatever is out there already on LinkedIn? What makes you stand out, basically, or what makes your offer stand out? Another question is, what are you doing what you are doing? What is your mission, basically? And the mission is about really like the core reasons that are pushing you to do whatever you are doing today. There is a reason you have a journey, and it relates to your personal journey. The next question is who or what it is that you are fighting against, who is your enemy. So obviously here is quite figurative, hopefully, but basically is what kind of problem are you trying to solve? And then lastly, what are the core values you believe in? And listing them up will also help you encapsulate that general positioning and value proposition of yours. So once again, I'm not listing every questions, as I was saying, but I will share with you later on the full presentation that has everything listed out. And so once you have answered those questions, you have a set of informations, but you still haven't articulated in a clear manner. So I would suggest two different Canva options for you to articulate those responses into a clear value proposition. The first of all, you can take the transformation side of things. So I help, and then you describe your target audience, and you describe the kind of transformation that you are offering thanks to your solution. And then you detail whatever is it that you are doing to attain that transformation. The other way is just a little trick, is to start from the problem and then say who is it that you address. People who are struggling with that problem, you define the problem and then you explain how your solution actually fixes it. So these are two ways to clearly articulate it. I took a couple of examples. So obviously I'm following my Canva very well. I help creative entrepreneurs build profitable businesses and ecosystems across East Africa, leveraging strategy, partnerships, and media. So we know who I am talking to, creative entrepreneurs. I am also selling a transformation, although I'm not selling anything, but I'm still selling in a way, is to build profitable businesses. And using what is the solution is media, partnerships, and strategy. And that would be another advice, but try to be as specific as possible. I know that strategy, partnerships, and media is still quite wide. It's not always easy to be so specific and clear about your offer, but as much as possible, try to be as concrete as possible. Then Sarah is quite active on LinkedIn as well. Some of you might know her. Sarah is a co-founder and CEO, Pungulupa Production and Freelance Studios, digital art for social impact and heritage. So it's very clear what Sarah is doing. She's a co-founder and a CEO. I understand that this might be the companies she is directing. But you might know that Sarah is working in animation, but there is no mention whatsoever of animation here. And while this is a sector and probably one of the biggest information, obviously on a profile you might find an image of her IPs, so you understand better. But try to be as specific as possible. And here, another thing is digital arts for social impact and heritage. You don't really understand, I mean, at least I don't understand very much the connection between the three concepts. So what you would like to rather try to do is to really articulate things in a way that makes it crystal clear for whoever is reading you and reading that tagline. Rukini, she's a friend of mine. I help startups scale globally with AI-powered HR ops, HR tech, EOR, PEO, compliance and culture, fractional people partner. Okay, the first part I understand. I help startups scale globally with AI-powered HR ops, really good. But then it gets quite technical and I do not understand anything. I do not work in HR, but you should not target only people expert in your field. Although eventually that might be your target audience that you really want to address. But you want your tagline to really speak to everybody. So try to avoid jargon and complex technical terms that you may understand, but that most people don't. And then a last example, Waiga Muturi. Maybe you know this person, I don't. But I found this example quite interesting because I will not read it, but he listed a whole bunch of stuff going in every direction. And he makes it quite complicated to understand really what this person is doing. He's doing everything and nothing at the same time. And I like this example as well because it's also a counter-example because you can see he has a lot of followers. So that means even with a bad tagline, he managed to build audience. It's not to deconstruct everything that I just said before. I still believe that a strong tagline can really help you clarify your message and find your audience. Prove that is not what does all the job either. Okay, another thing, if you can, try to quantify the benefits that your audience will stand by following you or purchasing your services. There are different benefits you can offer. Maybe you are saving your clients' time. Maybe you are saving your clients' money, either by making them make more money or save money. Maybe your solution is much more performant than everybody else. So I have not successfully done it myself, but it's a tip that I got from Thibault Louis actually. If you manage to find a way to actually quantify the kind of benefits you bring with using figures, concrete figures, it helps clarify your message. And so, for instance, I help creative entrepreneur double their income in 3 months. It makes it more tangible. I'm not saying that's what I'm doing, but you get the gist. And yes, last but not least, nothing is permanent. This tagline is going to evolve with you, so don't try to set it in marble. It will change. You will have to adjust it, to try, to experiment things. I'm not saying that you need to try and change it every other day, I mean every day, but on my case, like it has really evolved with whatever I was doing. So don't, try to achieve the perfect thing. Perfection is a dream, I guess. So just try to focus on whatever it is that you are doing at the moment, and whenever you maybe are servicing a different audience, or maybe whenever you are offering a different service, or whenever you are growing in your professional journey, you'll be able to adjust it. That's the end of the first part. So the second part is about building a professional profile. So here, really, very simply, what I want to share is the 9 or 8 sections that you really want to fill up in your profile, and that will give you a minimum viable profile in that sense, meaning a profile that looks professional. Yes, I mean, it's quite straightforward, but I still see today a lot of people who have maybe not fully, maybe they are not, I mean, anyway, we are going to see it together. I took my own example. So first thing first is a profile picture. So you want to have a picture of your face. If possible, like a real picture, not AI, not a company logo. If we are speaking about personal branding, people have to connect with you. If you can have eye contact with the camera, is better. It connects you even better with the audience, is a plus. Yes, and what you might want to avoid as well is to have a noisy background where you don't stand out really clearly from it. And so a very easy thing, if you have a picture you like but the background is terrible, you can just upload it to Canva, you crop your face out, and you put maybe a very, what do you call it, like a strong color at the back, maybe the color of your brand, and you create a little white outline around your face. You can see it often on LinkedIn, and it gives you a clean profile picture that is also matching your brand identity. Then the next thing, the banner. Yeah, okay, obviously you know what a banner is, but sometimes people don't put anything. It's better to have just an image than nothing at all, because it just shows that you are not taking your profile seriously. So just make sure you are putting something, even if it's maybe an IP of yours, very good. If you want to start and share more information as well about whatever it is that you are doing, you also can. Try not to overcrowd it with information, but it's a good way to also share a bunch of things. Then the tagline, we have just seen that. Next thing is the country and the location. Make sure you localize yourself well, because the algorithm actually pushes your profile to people in that same area. So if you are servicing people in Kenya or in Nairobi, if you don't mention it, your profile might not get as many views. Basic once again, but important. Then contact information. If you are selling something specifically, or if you want to build partnerships, give people a way to actually contact you. In many cases, this section is empty, so you can either share an email or WhatsApp business or whatever it is that you want to share, but it's quite important. And on this, actually, I don't know if I can show it to you briefly. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I want to share a tool that is very... Okay, I can't share it. There are scrapping tools that exist on the internet that you can type it on Google. One of them is called Final Scoot. That's the one I use. And whenever people are not putting their contact information, you can actually scrap it on the internet. There is a little window, and you click scrap, and it looks everywhere. And in most cases, he finds it and he verifies it. And so that's how you can actually get people's email address, even though they are not displaying it. It's a very useful trick. So the tool I'm using is called Final Scoot. But if you type scrapping tool for LinkedIn on Google, you'll find a lot. Next section is a website, actually. So you can put your website, your portfolio, whatever it is that you want. You can also personalize this writing here to turn it into a CTA, a call to action, like register to the newsletter or whatever it is, or book a meeting with me. Yeah. Next section, okay, is about section. That's really where you have more space to actually tell people who you are, what is your journey, what is it that you're doing, and so you can take some time to actually work it out, to clarify for people your professional journey and why. That's a good way to explain your mission more in detail and to tell people why is it that you are doing what you do, and to also point out to the different things you do. Another section is a featured section. that's one where you can actually feature maybe media articles that speak of your IP, or posts of yours that are very successful, or maybe if you have a newsletter, a link to your newsletter, or if you have a link to a Calendly for people to book meeting with you, that's also a really good place to put it. So call to actions, CTAs is really the right place to have them. And then the experience section. Obviously, probably all of you here use LinkedIn as a virtual CV, so that's really the basics of it. Make sure not to include maybe everything that you have been doing in your life. Try to maybe curate it in a way that also align with whatever it is you are doing today, to make your profile seem more articulate. But yes, yeah, that is it. Very simple, very straightforward. Third part, how to find your voice on LinkedIn. That's probably the more challenging part, actually. Okay, AI is not your friend. It is, but it is not. It is obviously a really great tool, and I'm using it every day myself. But what I will encourage you to do is not to delegate everything to it at once and just ask him to, write this post, and you let him do whatever he wants to do. You probably have noticed as well on social media, more and more contents obviously are made with AI. Some are really interesting and well made. A lot of them are terrible, and you can immediately spot it. And at least for me, I find the way AI is writing sometimes quite annoying. I keep using it, but I try to use it in a way that doesn't make it sound so bad. So yeah, AI is your friend, but don't rely too much on it, especially at the beginning, because that's where you're actually going to learn. And so if you delegate everything, there will be no learnings. So yeah, try to get a hang on LinkedIn at the beginning a little more, and on writing especially, before you use AI more. Obviously, I'm not saying not to use it at all. How to get post IDs? That's a good question, because you might know basically the kind of topic, the kind of subject you want to speak about, but it doesn't give you a post. And so how to do that? There are a few tips I'm going to share with you. One of them is to break down the process. Because when you now want to publish on LinkedIn, you sit at your table and you are looking for an ID, and the ID is not coming, and you have lost an hour. So break down the process. For instance, IDs come all the time. So what I do, whenever I got an ID, at any time, I have my phone, I open Notebook, write down the ID. That's a check. And that's how I built a library of IDs that I know I now can come back to whenever I want to write something, and I just have to pick the ID and develop it into a post, basically. Another step, you can break this process down really in 5 or 6 steps. My next step, once I have an ID, is to articulate it into a hook. A hook is this catchy sentence. We'll speak more about it later. That is basically guiding gives the direction for the post you are writing. Very important. So that's another step. Next step could be to develop the hook into a post. Next step could be to edit the post. And finally, to post it, and maybe go and look for an image online to illustrate it. So because you are breaking down the process, you are making sure that you harness your creativity better, and that is also a way to better use your time and be more efficient and streamline the process a little more. Repurpose successful content. Obviously, that's when you have started posting a little bit. Look at whatever content of yours is working best and go and repurpose it. It can be to change the image and the hook, and you leave the text like that. I do that sometimes. It can be to tweak, just keep the ID and rework the entire thing. but basically go back to it and double down on what is working. And sometimes you don't have so many ideas, and you just go back in line and check what worked, and is a good way to also find inspiration. And finally, look around and copy what works. I mean, look around in the news, but also on LinkedIn to whatever other creators in your niche or in your sector is writing about, and copy it. Copy the ideas. Ideas do not belong to anybody. I'm not saying to copy paste the post, but I mean, people are sharing ideas everywhere, and when you do, make sure you credit the person who gave you the idea, because it's a good way to also trigger engagement from that person. The person might come and say, "Oh, thank you," in the comment section, "Thank you for sharing," or whatever, and it will also boost your reach. So yeah, one stone, two birds. How often should I post? What I would really recommend is that you pace yourself. I started posting every day. It lasted 3 months, and then I stopped entirely. So when I came back the next time, I decided that's not what I was going to do. And so I started posting between 3 and 5 times a week. This was a pace that worked better for me. So find your pace. Make sure that you can actually sustain it, because this is what matters most down the line. So don't be overambitious. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym every day for a week, and then you forget about it for the next few years. So try to avoid that. How to write posts that people actually engage with? That's a really good question. There are 5 different things you need to really pay attention to. The first one is the hook. We mentioned it before. The hook is making 80% of the success of your post. So that's where you need to focus 80% of your energy on. Not saying that you need to neglect the rest, but that's really what matters most. What makes a good hook? There are 5 different pillars to a good hook. Clarity. Keep it clear, so people really understand immediately what it is that you are talking about. African filmmakers probably never witnessed such an extraordinary opportunity. We are talking to African filmmakers about an extraordinary opportunity. Simple. So keep it clear. Keep it short as well. Keep it short, because if it's too long, it will get sliced in the middle, and the effect that we are hoping to achieve might not work. So basically between 1 and 2 lines, no more than 20-25 words tops, because if you go beyond, it gets slashed, and then the hook is not working again. And once again, for the sake of clarity and impact, you want to keep it short and impactful. Third thing is curiosity. You want to make it intriguing to trigger people's curiosity, and to do that, you have to keep a little mystery. If you go back to that one, you notice that I am mentioning an extraordinary opportunity, but I am not saying what it is, because I mean, you don't want to spoil people, so you want to keep the enigma for the end and for the post. You want them to click more. So yeah, keep it a little intriguing, secret, and mysterious. Keep it relevant. Obviously, I mean, he has to speak to your target audience, so don't go and write about something that is completely out of their interest zone. And finally, leverage emotion, and that's probably the strongest point. So obviously you can use emojis. I will encourage you not to use too many of them. One is probably enough. Try to also use emojis that are more emotionally charged. These are probably some of the most emotionally charged emojis that you can find. If you use the emoji tree or the emoji car, it will not have the same impact as the emoji under 18 or the emoji money. Those two are working very well. So yeah, emojis is a way, but words is another way. Try to use words that are emotionally charged and strong. Epic, legendary, nightmare, crazy, insane, shocking, iconic, brutal is very dark, but it works. You can ask ChatGPT; is really good at that, spotting words that are have a strong emotionally charge. So emotion. So that was for the hook, the 5 pillars of a good hook. Then the second most important thing is the visual. And here you have to remember that LinkedIn is not Instagram. On Instagram, every image has to be polished and beautiful. On LinkedIn, really, you do not care at all. I would say the rougher the better. It's not exactly true, but almost. You don't want to see landscape there. It doesn't really work. I mean, once in a while, why not? You can try, actually. But it's not what performs best. Everything that is marketing, like flyers or things like this, is horrible. It doesn't work. I've tried it. Is bad. Try to avoid it. What works, however, is portraits of people and having characters. So real pictures tend to work better than AI, although I mean you can still experiment. So real pictures of people is better if you can clearly identify the character. It's better if there is eye contact. It's better if the person is displaying some emotions. She's laughing, hopefully not crying. Why not? Yeah, so emotions again. And yeah, and another thing, obviously, if you work in the animation sector or the film sector, IPs work well. Images from film, from video games, also perform quite well, especially when we can recognize a character. It doesn't have to be pictures of people that actually exist. So visual. Then context. Context is really, really important. Is a moment, I mean, is basically like how does your post relate to whatever is happening in the news as it relates obviously to your sector. And context is quite powerful. When you share the post at the right time, I mean in the right context, it can really help your reach. I'm coming back to that example. Here there are two different ways context played a role. Obviously, is a post about the animation sector. I shared it during Annecy Festival, which is the biggest animation market worldwide. 15,000 people gathered in a small city in southern France for a week. So that was first context. Then the image is coming from Ianu. Is an IP about, I mean, is an African-themed show that was being released on Showmax that very same week. And so combining the two of them is two elements of context that actually played a role in the virality of that post. It's not the only element, and what you want to try to do is to combine as many elements together as possible to maximize the virality potential of your post. But yeah, it definitely played a role. First dimension is value. You don't want to waste people's time. So whenever you are announcing something in your hook, make sure you actually deliver in the body of the post. Because if not, you are wasting people's time, you are losing credibility, people lose interest, and they might just scroll past and not come back to you again. So try to deliver the value you are promising. And obviously it's not possible to always deliver a value at 100%, but try to make your post relevant and interesting for people, and for them to leave with either maybe a smile if you made a joke, or some level of knowledge, or an opportunity, or whatever it is, but so that they can walk out of it happier. And then the last one, the CTA, call to action, is a really good way to also trigger engagement. For instance, you want to ask a question at the end of the post to ask people whatever it is that you want to ask them, and if people find it interesting, they might respond in the comment section and further boost your reach. And when you speak of CTA here, I mean here, in order for people to actually access the Killer Pitch Deck guide, I was asking them to connect with me and to leave a comment. And that's why you have like 1,000+ comments, and that's one of the reasons as well this post went so viral. So that's a lead magnet. It works pretty well. We'll speak about it later a little bit. Okay. Make the algorithm work for you and not against you. Yeah, there are a number of things. Two things that are really that I see a lot of time. Whenever you are sharing a link to an external website. Maybe it's your website, maybe it's your newsletter, maybe whatever, maybe it's an article. And when you share it in the body of the post, the algorithm actually penalize your reach, and so your post will not circulate as much as it would have if you would have put that link in the comment section. So what I do in general is when I want people to RSVP for to come and join this event, for instance, I'm telling them, oh, RSVP link down below in the comment section, and then don't forget to put it. It happens as well. Yeah, so that will help you, protect your reach a little bit. Another thing quite important, when you tag people, make sure you tag people who actually are active on the platform, because if the people you are tagging in your post are not reacting to it in the next hour, same, the algorithm is going to penalize your reach. So don't try to tag too many people, and try to tag people you know are quite active on the platform and might come in and check quickly. There are a number of other tips and things to avoid that I am sharing, but I don't know if you have so much time. I will let you explore more in the document. Oh, okay, it doesn't work again. Okay, that is probably a part that will interest you a little more. 11 hooks that are proven to work. So here I'm sharing a couple of examples of posts that I've been, sharing out there, and you see their reach and everything. And so along the way, I'm sharing hook format that work well. One that works really well is pen and medicine combo. Basically, what you want to do here is to stress your audience pen very much to make them understand that's a really big problem, and then you bring the solution on a platter. It really prompts people to engage with the post. So obviously, like 2,600 impressions is not that much, but when you accumulate it over time, it really compound. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad either. It could be better, but yeah, we all need to start somewhere anyway. But that's a format that works. So here we have the example, 99% of African film professionals don't know how to distribute their film. Big problem. This is your chance to learn how. It might not present itself again. And it was cut because it was too long. 99%, I have no idea, but roughly a majority. So that's what this figure is reflecting. And this is your chance to learn how. Yeah. It would probably have had a better effect if I was telling people that somebody was going to do it for them for free, as opposed to learn it. But yes. Another one is to be contrarian. Try to bring ideas that are challenging people a little bit, that are bringing a different perspective. Here, piracy is one of the most effective distribution systems we have on the continent. This is going against what we most time believe, that piracy is a problem. Actually, it's an opportunity. And then you notice the image I used, Jack Sparrow. Everybody loves Jack Sparrow. It's quite fun. Yes. So, and this post actually performed quite well. Another one, UNESCO cannot save African heritage, but Netflix just might. Yeah. Another controversial idea that people find interesting. And yeah, coming back to images of IPs, of characters, of movies also, yeah, whenever there is a character, movie, fictional or not, is really nice. 3 use figures, numbers, percentages. For some reason, we love numbers. It also breaks the patterns of just text, and so is yeah, I mean, just use numbers from time to time. It's actually catchy. Video games are a stupid distraction that generated a staggering $1 billion in 2024. So $1 billion. Use money. When you use figure, try to use money as well. Is good. Another one, 90% of African animators and video games dev don't land international deals for a very simple reason. ... 90% percentage somehow is part of the thing that actually catch people attention. And as you can see, one very simple reason. I'm not saying what is the reason here. I keep the mystery intact. And I'm stressing also a problem. Yes. List things is a little bit like numbers, but list of things. So here are 10 actionable tips for emerging filmmakers to build your short film distribution strategy. It works really well with carousel format. When you attend a conference, you have not followed everything, but you noted a few points. That's a good way as well. Oh, that's my 5 takeaway. I've not listened to the rest, but this is what I listened to. So yeah, list of things. Another example, Kenyan video game industry OGs share 5 tips on how to keep your studio alive. The last one is fire. And I added some money emoji too. So 5 tips again. Is my own picture, they're all laughing. You probably know them if you're working in the game sector. It's 5 tips. And then mystery again. The last one is fire, so it's a prompt to tell you that you should actually read until the end. It's little things, but when you accumulate them, they compound, and the effect actually is that your post is getting and receiving more attention. 5 quote scientific studies. So that's an advice Thibault is sharing. I don't know, he works really well in France with French people. I don't know if he works so well here in the continent. I'm trying. So a study reveals that gamers on the continent don't want to play African video games. I believe that the reason why it kind of works is the fact that it gives you voice and your arguments a little more authority. And if you combine it with something that is a bit weird and unexpected, it gives it more legitimacy. Make it twist. This is actually my most viral post, 100,000 plus impression. She abandoned the promising diplomatic career to build the most ambitious film fund Africa has ever witnessed. So we are coming from a very stable and secure position as a diplomat to venturing into the crazy African film industry, but not to do anything, like to build the most ambitious film fund as well. So it's quite intriguing. There is like a real discrepancy between the two situations. The picture, the quality of the picture is not fantastic, honestly. I mean, maybe you don't really see it here, but I mean, it's not so sharp, but she's quite expressive. And if you don't know her, this is Akuna Cook. Akuna Cook is the co-founder, obviously, of the Next Narrative Africa Fund, the most ambitious African fund, film fund that we have on the continent so far. And I shared, for context, that post at the end of July, and this was a moment where the fund was having its call for application opened. So that was an additional layer of context. So I was sharing a link in the comment section for people to go and pitch their film to receive funding. $40 million, basically, by the way. Yes, so make it twist. Another one with Beast that is not here today. From Kibera slum to becoming the premier African esport talent selected to co-stream the Esport World Cup 2025. Might be a little technical, but I mean, for those of you who know Beast, so the discrepancies from the slum to being the first streamer to co-stream the World Cup is huge in the esport space, at least. So like an esport person would understand it very well and connect to that. Another one, create a lead magnet. We spoke about it before. Here is actually, if you want to access the pitch deck, you can scan it. Not the pitch deck, like the guide. And that was the post I wrote with the image and after the hook. Basically, what did I put there? So I prompted people to connect and comment below to boost engagement, and I outlined the problem. So basically, I was in Annecy. I attended this conference from Laurent Auclair on the frail art of pitching, and what he was sharing is that out of the 1,000 submissions that Annecy received, only 5% actually kept for the official selection. And most rejections happen actually in the first pages, so that's a problem. So what I did is I compiled my notes, I put it in a Notion document, and I just shared that. And so I compiled a free PDF guide based on this masterclass for animation creators who wants to da 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 da. The guide includes da 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 da, and makes it really clear for people the kind of values they are going to get. And obviously, it worked super nicely. And this post over a few weeks, it got me 1,000 plus followers extra or connections. So that's a format that really works well. I can see that nobody is interested in getting a fantastic guide. Thank you. Use FOMO, a fear of missing out. Try to pressure people to make them understand that they are really going to miss something. But don't say it's just like if you have nothing to bring to the table. But yeah, try to bring value and to make people understand that they are going to miss the value if they don't click now. What if I told you that you could sell your film before even shooting it? Here is an African success story you cannot afford to ignore. If you're a filmmaker and you scroll by, you are missing the opportunity to understand how to sell your film before you even shoot it. Is a big mistake. So yeah, that's one example. Just mentioning the image. I don't think layering text over image works very well. I think this post would have been more performing better if it was just a simple image. But yeah, that's just a by the way and a hypothesis of mine. Two other examples, we have seen that one. The other one, this French Burkinabe distributor is quietly changing the narrative of Africa's broken film distribution sector and is offering you a golden ticket to join a network. So if you have a distribution problem and you do not click on more, you have a problem. FOMO. 9, people love a good win. People really don't like bad news so much, but good win, yes. 3 cold dishes, how a tiny Ugandan studio landed Burna Boy's first film sound production deal. So keyword Burna Boy, 3 cold dishes, popular film. I used is going to be released in cinemas in November. People heard about it a lot. And how did this tiny Ugandan studio got a deal with Burna Boy? That's a nice win. Yes. Another one, very straightforward as well. This young Kenyan student just won a scholarship to study at France's most prestigious animation school. You see the image, he's looking straight at the camera, simple. People can relate, and it's the good news, so good news travel fast. Yes. Make jokes. I was using Jack Sparrow image before. It was a joke that was not intended, but she has been working in the dark for the last 2 months at the French embassy in Kenya. This is Aminata, she's my intern. And for the first 2 months, I did not do any introduction post on LinkedIn. So that was my introduction post for her 2 months later. Some people actually believed she was working without electricity. So yes, so I think that, I don't know if that's why it worked so well, but it's a nice picture as well. Pan-African, and that one is quite interesting. That one, I did it for April Fools, and basically I was speaking of that animated telenovelas featuring African head of states that was happening on the moon that received like $15 million. If you work in the animation sector, you know that there is no such kind of money in the sector, and the pitch was completely crazy, and it was quite funny, and some people actually fell for it. For some reason. So yeah, make jokes. I mean, you might be doing better jokes than I, but good for you. And last but not least, make it personal. Make people understand you better, give people a chance to connect with you better. LinkedIn is not Instagram, but in that sense, it's closer to Instagram, more closer than you think. So a post that works really well. I've made a lot of new connections lately. It's time for me to introduce myself. Here are 5 things you do not know about me. Mystery, or curiosity at least. And a personal picture. I use a lot of personal pictures, and it works quite well. And then that's me and my daughter, very cute. Don't underestimate the power of cuteness. Yes, getting a little emotional as I'm preparing to leave Nairobi tonight. I was leaving her behind as I was going to Annecy. Yes, so make it personal, it works out so well. So yeah, that was for the Find Your Voice section, and then very quickly, turning your LinkedIn presence into an opportunity board. Here, there are two sections. I might go a little quicker on that, but once again, there are more elements on the document. But so at least we have some time for questions. Turn your profile into a landing page. Yes, so we saw the essential element to have a professional looking profile. Here we are going to review a little more in detail what you can optimize to make your profile, to turn your profile into a landing page. CTA optimization, we mentioned it before. Remember the featured section where you can prompt people to go and register to your newsletter, to book a call with you if you are selling a service. Whatever, if you are selling a product, maybe a digital book or a video game, put the link there and tell people to go and test the game, go and buy the book. CTAs, call to actions. So feature section, the featured section is the best place. You can also feature it in the at the end of your presentation. There is also you can have a button that is clickable where you can prompt people to go and buy your product or visit your website. Yes, very important. SEO, your services section. SEO is search engine optimization to make sure that your profile or website is ranking best in Google research. And basically in LinkedIn, there is I cannot show it to you directly, I will try later, but there is a section dedicated for you to list up the kind of services you offer, if you offer services. So that's a place where you can pick a number of services, there is a list, and there is also a little text that you can write to explain what kind of services you do. I think it's limited to 500 or 1,000 characters. Ask ChatGPT, here he is good at that, to make sure to articulate your service in a way that is very SEO friendly. Social proof. This is not just about LinkedIn, but if you are offering services, make sure you are compiling your clients and partners' feedback on whatever it is that you are doing. It can be a comment on your Google Business profile. It can be a comment on your Trustpilot. It can be a WhatsApp message they send to you. Take a screenshot, you put it on the dedicated section on your website or landing page. And on LinkedIn, where you might want to feature that is your banner. And maybe if you have worked with 1,000 clients, some people do, you can say that you have 1,000 plus clients satisfied with your service, or you can maybe feature a few logos of some of your most critical clients. That's social proof that reinforces people's confidence in you to solve their problem and showing track record of previous successes or not, but you don't have to mention. Creator mode, there is a creator mode on LinkedIn that you can activate. Basically gives you access to a little more information on reach and everything. And it also displays a number of followers that you have straight ahead of your profile so everybody can see. And whenever people will click follow instead of clicking connect. It's a little difference, but I find it quite useful, not for the follow connect part, but for the number of followers, because the more followers you have, the more credibility you have. And so that's something you want to also sell to people. And last, maybe and least probably, LinkedIn for business. You know, when you are paying like 5K every month to have this little yellow golden section on your LinkedIn profile. Is it useful? Is it important? It is not as useful or important as to write on LinkedIn often, 3 or 4 times a week. And I would really not encourage you to buy it for now until you maybe have established yourself, or at least unless you are making enough money and it's good, and it's a good way to also show people that you are taking your LinkedIn presence seriously. But once again, it doesn't replace the fact that you actually need to be active on the platform. Otherwise, it's just like a nice decoration. Okay, last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the difference between inbound and outbound marketing. Some of you might know about that. Inbound is a passive strategy. Is basically whenever you are posting. I mean, the idea is for you to post regularly on LinkedIn to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a credible, not only a credible voice, but a credible partner and a credible service provider or credible professional, whatever it is that you are doing, and to basically let people come to you. By posting regularly, highlighting your audience, target audience problem, you help them understand that they actually have a problem, and you make them understand as well that you have the solution for their problem. And so people eventually, if you do the job correctly, will come to you to ask you for help. So that is inbound. And the other opposite strategy is outbound. Outbound marketing is really when you are going out there and sending DMs and trying to reach out to people to target whoever might need your service, and you pitch yourself, emails, messages, etc., etc., etc. Both is much more active and incisive. I detail it some more here. And both approaches are actually quite compatible, and they reinforce one another quite well. But this is more about sales than anything, and the marketing, so that might be for another time. And then finally, two more observations. First, the power of community. Do not underestimate, the power of community, obviously. Whenever, go out there, comment on other people's posts, share your insights, try to share things that are useful, if possible. Go and like them, their content, especially if there are people working in the same sector as you. That's how you build community online as well. And by showing your support, you also hope that they also will reciprocate. But the idea is not just to have this exchange, but is to, because whenever you are posting, sharing comments on other people's profile, this also can attract people to your own profile. That is, if you are saying interesting things. So yeah, the power of community, first of all, and that's the two takeaway. And the power of consistency, I've been saying it already quite a bit. What matters most is your consistency, because actually posting regularly, the effect actually compounds over time. And so you might be posting 3 times a week. Monday and Wednesday, the post didn't do so well, but on Friday, the post really worked so well. And because that post worked well, your other post will now go and benefit from that visibility, and they will now be shown to more people. So the more regular you are, the more consistent you are, the better result you'll get.